All right, I'm live. Yes! Oh, God, I am so jacked up. Very, very jacked up. Very jacked up. Very happy to be here. Very happy to talk football. We're going to talk some draft. Talk a little bit of draft news, and I have a special treat. This is a really, really special treat. I cannot emphasize how important the information I have available today, and I'm going to reveal it later on in the show. So I'm very excited about it. I'm going to double check to make sure YouTube has me ready to rock, and they do. All right. I want to talk a little bit of draft. The only grade revision I got so far is the Carolina Panthers. One pride. You know what, man? Hey, you know what? Maybe just move in a little slower. I'm right on time today, so I think everybody will come in, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. I know you are very happy. The Detroit Lions had a fantastic draft. I gave them an A-. I was very, very, very happy with the Detroit Lions. I think that there was only two teams that did better in the draft, and that's my opinion. And apparently my opinion is a very, very small minority. I found out a lot of people had different grades. The only revision on the draft I'm going to do is the Carolina Panthers, who I originally had a C. I'm going to give them a B-. And the reason why I'm giving them a B- is because according to them, J.C. Horn played predominantly press man coverage. The majority of the time he was there in South Carolina. I didn't watch enough South Carolina football to determine if he's been in press man coverage more than Surtain. I think both can play. I still would have taken Surtain, but the coaching staff came from the college ranks, and the offensive coordinator came from LSU. The offensive coordinator played against both Surtain and Horn in college. So I'm going to go with what they did, and I love late in the draft of everything that they did. Terrence Marshall had a leg issue that caused his stock to drop. I originally had him mocked to Kansas City at 31. Turns out to be he has a leg issue, which caused him to slide. And apparently JOK, right before the draft, it was revealed that JOK had a heart condition. Apparently he could play through it, but that's kind of what caused him to slide, because I actually would have, if I was Cleveland Browns, I was surprised they took Newsome over JOK, but they ended up getting both, and I gave them a B+. So that's the way I look at it, man. We do got some people here. Stevie's here. Welcome, brother, man. I'd love to know what you think about Chiefs draft. I know I liked it. Alex, welcome back, brother. Yes, you drafted a quarterback. I would love to know what you think. I wasn't surprised. I'll be honest with you, I was surprised Mills and Mund was available. I'm surprised Trask went before both of them. But I will say this, Mills is interesting. He's interesting. And I'll continue to update this as the season goes along. I think Watson's going to start day one. I'm going to stand by it. Funk's in the house. What is up, brother? I know you should be very happy. I gave the Detroit Lions an A-. I'd love to know what you thought. I thought the Lions did a fantastic job. Denver Gators in the house. Welcome, brother. Denver Gators only here to discuss female Australian minor league football, softball. All right, hey, man, whatever you want to do, brother, whatever you want to do. It's actually funny, though. I gave the Denver Broncos a B+. A lot of people didn't like their draft because they didn't take a quarterback. I thought that was smart. Get the pieces you can for Drew Lock to succeed, and if he doesn't succeed, then you draft one. I would be shocked if Bridgewater beat out Lock. Very, very shocked. So that's just kind of my opinion. Yeah, I gave Denver a B+. I want to double check. I was pretty sure. But yeah, I actually love Denver's draft. I've actually been very high on Denver's draft the last couple of years. I think they did a fantastic job. But you're only here for Australian minor league softball, and that's exactly right. A couple hours ago, I had an energy drink. It's obviously not affecting me at all, and I'm almost finished with my cup of coffee. As you guys know, I do not do drugs before the show. I'm on a draft high. I felt most of the guys we got were steals. Yes, Sewell at 7 is where I've been having him go. Your next couple of picks all went higher. Was it Jefferson out of Oregon State, the last pick in the draft? I watched him play. He's going to make the team. He's going to make the team. He's going to contribute. Releasing Kerryon Johnson was a major surprise for me. So Funk is asking, are you a fan of the Melbourne Root? I love it, man. I love it. I love the Collins draft by Houston and that tight end. Nico Collins was an absolute steal. I wanted him going to Kansas City at 63. Collins sat out due to COVID, 6'4", 215, ran a 4.42 and a 4.43 at his pro day. Nothing but upside. And the thing I love most is that you got Brandon Cooks, Reggie Cobb. Well, he's no longer with the team, but you had the receiver out of Notre Dame, can't stay healthy. Anyway, you had a bunch of smaller receivers. I really wanted them to get a bigger receiver. They did that. Mills, I thought his value at the top of the third round was good. But in a perfect world, he's not going to play. And I'm going to stand by this. Deshaun Watson's going to be clear of everything. He's going to start day one. There's going to be no repercussions by the NFL. Gator, what's up, dude? You got Quinn Mernez. That is awesome. I didn't know about that until afterwards, but yeah, he's awesome. Dan, my last pre-draft mocks were a lot of Jabril Cox and Damien Brown. I had the positions right for the second round, just not the right player. You know what? Cox lasted to the fourth, and I didn't know about LVE not being signed to his fifth-year extension, so I was a little surprised at first why Dallas took 2 linebackers. I actually think Cox fits that defense better than Parsons, but since you're not letting LVE go and Sean Lee retired, I thought it was a great move by Dallas, going ahead and going with a couple linebackers. Thought it was a great move. And then wait a minute, you talking Dami Brown? You didn't have Dami Brown going in the 6th round. The kid out of Clemson, I do like. They're giving him 14, which is really cool. This is kind of funny. Alex, why'd you guys draft Davis Mills? I'm going to answer this. The value is there. All right. The top of the 3rd round, came out of high school as some people said first, some people said second, pocket passer in the league. If you watch what little is, he only played in 11 games. What little tape there was, the talent is undeniable. The talent is undeniable. The arm talent is undeniable. Kid can't stay healthy. That's how he never plays. Doesn't play at all. You may be able to trade. There's a lot of things that you could do. A lot of things you can do there. But I know you didn't like it. I'm warming up to our draft. I'd rather have a more athletic linebacker than Bolton, but I get them drafting for Hitchens. Yes, he'll replace Hitchens, and I like the fact of Bolton and Gay being every down linebackers. I really, really like this a lot. In the past, Steve Sagnolia hasn't drafted inside linebackers, which is what I think eventually he'll play right away. One thing that you should note is that it's always been an Andy Reid staple to get good special teams players. Bolton is a special teams demon. So that's something really, really good with that. I would have liked that also, but you got to remember, you got an offensive-minded head coach, a former wide receivers coach. That's why I kind of like the Collins pick. I was hard on you guys. I gave you guys a D+ only because you gave up the 1st and 2nd for a player who was supposed to help you this year or last year, and yet winning 4 games. Sins of the father. It's not really fair, but on the picks you took, I gave you a B. Not really fair. Not really fair, I know, but the players you took, you get a B. Overall, you get a D+ thanks to your boy Bill O'Brien. Kind of a dick move on my part, I know, but the players you got, I love the players you got. Stevie Keys also started to fall hard for Maneras pre-draft, so I had to deal with that. For those of you who don't know, Maneras is a lineman who played for Wisconsin Green Bay. Without using Google, that's what I'm going to go with. And he kind of stood out because he had this gut and he was like showing it off. He also did some charity. I can't remember exactly. It was some really cool charity thing. Went to the Senior Bowl, just dominated. Dominated small school competition, went to Senior Bowl, dominated against big school competition. Really, really good draft by the Denver Broncos. Really good draft by the Denver Broncos. I did too. As a Chiefs fan, it sucked. I thought it was smart getting Surtain. And then you got the, was it Baring Browning, if I remember right, the kid out of Ohio State, former 5-star player. If you said, God, build me a middle linebacker, athletically, it would be Baring Browning. 6'2", 245, runs like a 4.5. He was just very inconsistent in college. With Vic Fangio, that is phenomenal. You also traded up and got Williams out of North Carolina, the better running back, the thicker one. And the best part is Melvin Gordon's a free agent after the season, so you can kind of ease him into being the starting running back. I've always been a Melvin Gordon fan, but didn't really stay healthy. But when he is healthy, I think he's an absolute stud, and you can kind of play around with that. But Denver's doing some really good things. I thought it was smart that they bypass the quarterback. You get Bridgewater. He's going to be a solid backup. I don't care if anybody says he's not really a threat to overtake Drew Lock. He's just not. If he's smart, he stays in Denver. That's a great spot for him. So, Dan, I think I do. Okay, yes and no. I'll say it. I think I'm okay. Some channels get flagged for saying COVID, but I think we're good here. With the COVID bug and not being able to run routes, you had Jerry Jeudy who needed a little more polishing. Cortland Sutton, remember he got injured, I believe, in training camp. He's out. KJ Hamler was a guy who was really overdrafted, but was supposed to be a runner, receiver, all-around dual threat. Some people thought he was going to run a 4.25 at the combine. Then he didn't have a combine as pro day, tweaked his hamstring, didn't run. So nobody really knows if he's a 4.4 guy or a 4.25 guy. There is a big difference because he's a smaller guy. And in college, he dropped like over 10% of the passes thrown his way. So he was a guy who needed a little more polish as well. So I thought that with this last offseason, I gave those guys kind of a pass. I know late in the season, Jerry Jeudy had a lot of drops. He won't have them this year. Jerry Jeudy is going to be the number 1 wide receiver for Denver Broncos. Sutton's going to be the number 2 guy. Tim Sanders out of nowhere just started to play some really damn good football. They still got, I forget his first name, Hamilton out of Penn State, a guy I really liked. That receiving core is loaded. And the only problem is that Juwan James, who was going to play on the right side, he this week tore his ACL, so now they're bringing in people trying to find somebody to play right tackle. So Rodgers to Denver, I keep hearing that. I do not think it's going to happen. I think Rodgers will stay in Green Bay, even though I'm hearing all this stuff. Yeah, the Chiefs did do well. I love Cornell. Yeah, that's the Clemson receiver, if I remember right. The Chiefs really did a good job in the draft. I'm going to stand by. I thought the Ravens won the trade, but I gave both teams a B+, factoring in Orlando Brown for both teams. So the last few years, I thought the rest of the AFC West was about to bust out. I hope to keep getting surprised by their underwhelming performance. I expect, right now, today, I think the best team in the AFC West besides Kansas City, got teams going to finish number 2, is going to be Denver. I kind of like what they're doing. The Raiders had a very confusing draft. I really don't get what they're doing. And the Chargers, even though they did draft Slater, I'm still not 100% sold on what they're doing. I did think that they had a good draft, but as of right now, I think the Chargers would be the last place team in the division. So I love how the Lions took best player available at every pick. I didn't go into that much detail with just the Detroit Lions, but one thing I did like is that they got really good value at every single position. It seemed like every time they chose, they got good value. I don't know if they went best player available exactly, but they really did. They really needed to overhaul that defensive line, getting 2 defensive tackles. Both those rookies may start day one, and that would be a good thing. I like, was it Armand Ross St. Brown, the kid out of USC? I actually thought he'd go in the second round. It was funny because if I thought he was going to be available in round 3, I would have mocked him to the Texans. I didn't think he'd be available. So you get him in the 4th round. And you had some other picks in the middle rounds. But the last pick of the draft, you got that kid out of Oregon State who I really like, and he'll make the team. It's all about some routines. If it is what I think it is, Menrez for president. Broncos draft was awesome. Lock Teddy or that certain number 12. Either way, I love that they're giving Lock. I agree too. I agree. NGL, the DTS caught me off guard. You're talking about the defensive tackles. I'm assuming I loved your defensive tackles. Both those guys could have gone earlier. Was it Nozurike, Levi Nozurike? I'm butchering the last name. He could have gone late first. And then if he played this year, if he actually played this year and sat out, there's a good chance he could have gone like maybe top 20. He had some really good tape. So yeah, there's a lot of things I liked about the Detroit Lions. And I actually misspoke because I asked Luke, I said, what'd you think about the over-under being at 6? And he's like, oh, definitely over. It's actually 5. So something to think about. And you'll understand why I'm going to talk about that here in a bit. Here, I'm going to touch base on that. A lot of Chiefs fans thought Casey had to go wide receiver early. When they failed to realize is that the team didn't see that, made it to the Super Bowl without Watkins and returning the rest of the receiving core. I would have liked to seen a receiver early. And the reason why is that when Watkins was healthy, the offense was completely different. Kelsey, I don't think you can expect that level of production this year because that type of production is unprecedented. It was a record-breaking season. It was over 1,500 receiving yards. You can't count on that. You absolutely can't count on that. Not only that, I think he's 32 or 33 when the season starts. Tyreek Hill, can he be the fastest wide receiver in the NFL again this year? Father Time's undefeated. I really would have liked another receiving threat. The kid out of Clemson they got's a really good player. He was a highly recruited player in high school. A lot of players like him would have left school early would have left or transferred is what I was trying to say. Would have transferred. He'd have stayed at Clemson. He liked the environment, knew that he would get his chance. Played better than his draft ranking, but people are expecting more production. It's a situation where maybe he goes to a smaller school. He has a lot more stats. Maybe would add a higher draft ranking. Maybe would add a lower draft ranking. But I do like it. Hey, Dan, reminds me. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, yeah, that reminds me, Dan. How's that OnlyFans centered around the Broncos going? I'm thinking you should bring in Raider stuff soon, or with Charger gear as well down the line. That is a great idea. I should advertise on the ticker below my OnlyFans account. Why I'm not doing that's beyond me. But here in a little bit, I am going to give you guys some premium gold content, some content you really, really do not want to miss. This is the reason why you follow the show is for the content I'm going to reveal here in just a few minutes. I'm sitting here and loving the oh God, I'm really buying on the comments. So once I get caught up on the comments or at a good enough time, I'm going to reveal some really great information you cannot miss out on. Same funk. It's finally night. It's finally not reach for ones. Jelani Tevi. I think you're talking about previous player here. I like Dallas linebacker court right now. I do too. I had no idea LVE wasn't going to be part of the plans. I actually really like the guy, but you could move. what's it? Jalen Smith. You could move him inside. You could have those guys playing outside. Cox and Parsons. That's kind of what I'm expecting, actually. We'll have to see what. Well, Dallas is going to be an interesting team to follow this offseason. My man crush is Quinn. We got some nasties on the interior line. Now we need a right. Yeah, James could not stay healthy. I thought it was a major mistake LA gave him. I think it was like $63 million. Maybe I'm looking at 63. He gave him a buttload of money, made him highest paid right tackle. You could have actually traded for Trent Brown. Maybe the Raiders wouldn't want to trade Trent Brown. You could still do some different things. Don't tell anybody, but Mitchell Schwartz, who was released from the Kansas City Chiefs, he is available. Every person we draft had connections. That I did not know. And you got M. Gator. Also, didn't you guys get your corners? Yeah, they did. They got Surtain, and then they got 3 in free agency. So, I mean, yeah, it was a real surprise. Well, I'm not really surprised. I think one of them signed a 1-year deal, and the other 2 are not really number one. Surtain will be the best corner on the team, whether it's mid this season or next season. Stevie brings up an excellent point. Dan, I'm interested in your thoughts on the Raiders' strategy to start 11 safeties on defense this year. Yes. So what the Raiders did is they signed Carl Joseph back. He was the 14th overall pick in the draft, and then Gruden wanted to replace him with a bigger safety, so he drafted Jonathan Abram. Had to keep Carl Joseph on Abram's rookie season because Abram got injured in preseason. That's when they had a Hard Knocks episode. So then he went to Cleveland. I brought him back anyway because they want to play more 3 safety formations. Then they went ahead and drafted 3 safeties. So it's going to be an interesting defense. Very surprised because when the Raiders when John Gruden won a Super Bowl, he had the best defensive line in football and Derek Brooks as defensive MVP. Instead of now, Trevon Moehrig is a fine pick. I don't have too much of a problem with it, but why? And now maybe the heart condition was a big deal, but JOK in the second round, that's a no-brainer. I actually would have made a try. I would have tried to trade up in the second round to try to get JOK or Moehrig. But the Raiders, in my opinion, definitely lost this draft. I'm very confused on what they're doing. But that's good for me being a Chiefs fan. Where's my guy Dustin at? I'm pretty sure he wants to be a Lions fan. Dustin's made a lot of comments in the chat. I was expecting him to be here today, but he's made a lot of great comments. Was not happy with the Panthers taking Horn at 8. I get why. I wasn't a fan at all. They drafted a tackle in the 3rd round, which now they're talking about making him the starting left tackle. That's a reach. So. Steve, I was shocked at that. I'm shocked too. Apparently, it's a health issue. So that's kind of the issue. If he has a great season, if he has a great year this year, he's going to be a very sought after free agent. With Pep Hamilton coached in college and high school, he will coach in the teams with these players. I had no idea Pep Hamilton was related somehow with all these different players. I had no idea, but that's a good move. Are you getting on the Houston Texans bandwagon? Because I think as soon as it's clear that Watson will start and be able to play in all 17 games, a lot of things are going to change in predictions for the Houston Texans. So if the Chiefs O-line can do as expected, it won't matter, no matter how great the QB. No, you're right. You're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. I just wanted a game breaker like Watkins. That's just kind of me personally. I really want to have somebody opposite Tyreek Hill because if you can protect Mahomes, it's just a matter of time for Tyreek Hill gets open because, I mean, there's nowhere on the football field that Mahomes can get the ball to. So, guys, if anybody plays fantasy, make sure you pick up Swift. Yeah, Swift's going to have a big season. I wasn't. Funk availability is the best ability. That's why Yeah, he can't. Kerryon Johnson has not been able to stay healthy, but I'm still shocked. So I think if he developed, Collins can be absolutely no. Nico Collins has all the ability to be a number one wide receiver. Part of the reason he didn't develop was the Big Ten had that weird issue where they were canceling the season. They released it. All the tools in the world. They also had a lot of problems at the quarterback position. So yeah, Collins has all the tools. It wouldn't surprise me if late in the year, if Collins ends up being the number one wide receiver. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm kind of thinking if Cooks can stay healthy, he'll be number one. Collins will be number two. That's the way I see it. Aaron Rodgers to Miami, half kidding. You know what? That actually does make a little bit of sense. Remember, you got a 5-year deal with Tua. You could have Tua just ride the bench for another year or two. Rodgers could actually go to a team with an established quarterback who's young and just say, hey, look, just sit back for a year or two. Honestly, you can't make the trade now, and the reason why you can't make the trade is because San Francisco gave up all their picks, but you could actually see a trade somewhere in there. It actually is not as far-fetched as you think. It's not as far-fetched Aaron Rodgers going to Miami. So Dan Patrick and Adam Schefter on the show. Adam basically said there wasn't a source for his story. It didn't come from Rodgers. He had just been hearing whispers all season. He wrote the piece, and it happened. Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. I fully expect Rodgers to play in Green Bay, but Rodgers is a little kind of different type of dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he just said, you know what, screw Green Bay. I'm going to host Jeopardy and take my $200 million in winnings and go to TV. The dude's super smart. It's happened before where athletes have quit in their prime. Take a good hard look at Detroit Lions, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson. Now, Calvin Johnson, it was partly concussion related, but it's not that unusual for star athletes in their prime to just leave. He may just be being a complete dick right here and saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait till the season starts and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm going to host Jeopardy instead later. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But if you had to say, hey, Dan, what do you bet on Aaron Rodgers to do? It's starting for Green Bay. It's the first time in a while I've seen Detroit not reach and go best player available. I'm not 100% convinced they went best player available, but I think they needed to build inside out. And the number one weakness of the Detroit Lions is that front seven. It's easily the slowest front seven in football. Now you got two athletic defensive tackles, which you didn't have before. So I really like that. You did get some players that value was a lot higher. So, I mean, I get why you said that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just not 100% sure that's right. Honestly, I'm surprised Sewell fell to us. Once Pitts went fourth, I really thought Miami would take him. I was a little surprised Miami went Waddle there. But they've been kind of rolling the dice on players with question marks. But for them to use their 2 first-round picks on both Waddle and Phillips, 2 players with injury red flags, that was a little surprising. But if it pans out, if Waddle ends up being the next Tyreek Hill and Phillips ends up being the best pass rusher in football, the Dolphins will win the AFC East. That's a fact. They may actually be ready for the Super Bowl. So I wasn't expecting to see DTs at all, but both guys should have gone earlier. 100% correct, Funk, 100%. Agreed. Our second DT is being compared to Hargrave. That's a fair analogy, but I actually thought he would go in the second round, so you get him in the third. That's really good value. UCF Jaguar in the house. Yes, I was surprised. I thought that was a major mistake, and that is very important. I'm going to get some comments caught up, and I want to point out why this is important. Lance going number 3 and how you can benefit. I don't disagree. It was different with Watkins. It's also better with Kareem Hunt and not being able to count on Kelsey or Hill, but the front office doesn't seem to agree. I agree. They signed Demarcus Robinson to another 1-year deal. McCole Hardman, he's going to get another opportunity to prove that he can be a solid 2 or 3 number 2 receiver. Jesse Pringle, a former practice squad player who's now wide receiver number 5 and playing on special teams. He gets a chance. He's actually looked good when he has been given the opportunity. So, I mean, there is some major noise outside. I apologize. I have no idea what's going on. So that shocked me. My apologies. Honestly, I was expecting a safety or wide receiver or linebacker. Well, I actually was thinking safety myself. I was thinking Trevon Holland, or is that his first name? Holland, the kid out of Oregon. I thought that might be the pick. I think he may have already been gone. You could have drafted Morig, but you didn't. I think defensive tackle was a smart move. I think it was a really smart move. Brady's punching back at Father Time, maybe not winning, but he's pushing. You know, Brady did play well last year. He played a lot better than I thought. So, you know what? I'm saying this as a Chiefs fan. I'm really surprised that the Chiefs are favored to win the Super Bowl when I think it's Tampa Bay. I clearly think it's Tampa Bay. Mike Mayock, that's really good. Brady took the Bucs from 28th to number 1. He did. I mean, I think, you know what? I think it's kind of cool what he did. And I think it's cool that you took a team that was, 7-9 last year, took them to the Super Bowl. This is going to be a good year to be a Bucs fan. Fournette didn't click till the playoffs. I think the team was kind of like trying to go through like a getting to know you process on offense, defense, all the pieces with Brady. I think they were like 7-5, and then just boom, got hot. This is going to be a really, really fun team to watch, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I think all the major competitors in the NFC kind of took a step back. The Rams, I understood they got Stafford, but they lost some players, and basically 6 players have 2/3 of the salary cap is tied up with 6 players. So any one of those guys gets hurt, the defense and offense just really falls apart. So if he plays this season, Schwartz isn't signing with a team that isn't the Chiefs unless Veach doesn't answer, unless they offer considerably less than any other team. The way I understand it, Schwartz can sign with anybody. That's the way I understand it. He's no longer with the team. He could sign with Kansas City. I don't think Kansas City really wants to sign him. I think that he could go anywhere, and I think Denver would be smart to at least bring him in. Steven Raiders. So I'm a draft junkie, but this year I was following the Lions and Jags more so than usual. One Pride and Funk is the reason I followed the Lions. I'll let you guys killed it. Jags because Tebow is tight end. I didn't even touch base on that. Yeah, he's going to – I don't know if he actually officially signed the contract. For those of you that don't know, Urban Meyer was Tebow's coach when he was with Florida, so they do have a future together. I actually love it, and I liked Jacksonville's draft. I gave them a B because they're 2 second-round picks. I thought they could have gotten later in the draft, but they also got some guys late that I really liked. Jacksonville's doing a lot of really good things. I'm going to start breaking down all the teams after the 4th of July. More than likely, I'm going to start breaking them down at probably July 6th. I'll give you guys some notice, but I'm going to break down all 32 teams. All 32 teams. And look, I know I'm behind on comments, but I do want to show you guys something here. This is kind of the gold that I really, really want to show you. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. And it looks really blurry on my end. I don't know if I could blow this up or not. Okay. God, I hope you guys can see this. It doesn't look good on my end. I'm going to try to blow this up a little more. If one of you guys can let me know in the chat, and I'll skip here. Can you guys read this okay? Because if you can't, I'll mess around some more. I'll just eliminate me completely. Actually, hold on here. Let me just do this real fast. All right. Because I really want to show you guys this. All right. This is why Trey Lance going to the 49ers is important. And I don't know if you guys can read this up here or not. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. San Francisco 2021-2022 regular season win total is at 10. The under is plus 110. For those of you who don't know what this means, it means if you wager $100, you will win $110. I'm telling you this right now. You may want to go ahead and mortgage your house, go get a payday loan, pawn something of value. I'm telling you this right now. The Niners are not winning 11 games this year. They are not going 11-6. This is something that's absolute gold. All right, I'm telling you this right now. There was holes in this team. They lose their defensive coordinator. They lose their run game coordinator. He goes to Jets as the offensive coordinator. They lose Richard Sherman, Tavon Coleman. There's somebody else of value that they lost that was really, really important. And I could throw that up later if you guys want to. No, I didn't. Okay, so I got messed up on my comments. So, by the way, that is gold. I'm letting you know this right now. Bet on the 49ers. Along with that is Seattle. Over 10 wins for Seattle. I think it's very solid. They went 12-4 last year. Remember, there's 17 games. So will Seattle go 11-6 this year at least? I think so. A $100 bet will win you 120. But I'm telling you this right now. I'm going to bet a large amount of money, by the way. I'm going to bet a large amount of money on the San Francisco 49ers winning less than 10. I'm telling you this right now because I'm hoping Lance starts because he's a project. All right. I think he threw like 600 passes in college. That number is going to need to change. And people are high on this. People are saying, yeah, because now he's a threat to run. I think that one of you guys put in here that is 40 times like 5-0 something. This is gold. I'm telling you this right now. Even if you're not involved in sports betting, get involved in sports betting. I pulled this off of William Hill. William Hill has a sports book in Iowa, which I'm probably going to go to. Excuse me, if I don't go to Vegas. I'm telling you this right now. The 49ers, and you know what? People are betting the over. This is a 6-win team that got worse, but their win total is going to go from 6 to 10. I'm telling you this right now. Bet on the 49ers. I'm going to. Once I do the bet slip, I'm going to go ahead and post it for you guys so you guys see firsthand. But I'm going to put some money on this. I cannot emphasize, if you do any sports betting, take the San Francisco 49ers under 10 wins. That's as close to a lock as you're going to get. All right. Denver. Oh, man, that is awesome. From Florida, diehard Gators fan, been to the bounce. Oh, no shit. UCF always liked Jags, but Tebow go back to Duvall, my second team. That I have to admit, I really like that. I forgot I mentioned that. I know I'm a little behind here on the comments, but I'll go through fast. I had to show you the 49ers are right now expected to win 10 wins. So, Dan, I wasn't shocked about Kerryon. I said he was going to get cut. I didn't know that. Back for the Stafford trade, the guy one pride wasn't shocked about was Wa Vander Esch. I was shocked. By the way, don't be surprised if LVE becomes a free agent next year if he signs with the Detroit Lions. Would not be surprised at all. Denver Gators, Tebow making the. I'm kind of curious myself. I would love it. I think it's a publicity thing. I don't think he makes it. Calvin was beat up. Dude wasn't even practicing the last 2 years. He was in the league because of it. Yeah, I heard that he had some concussion issues, all sorts of problems. So. What I'm hearing is Houston's going to trade Watson to Miami for Tua, 2 first-rounders, plus more come July. In July, clause in his contract will keep Houston from paying a lot of money on his contract. Okay. I'm going to disagree because I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay in Houston. I think everything's just going to be fine. I think everything's going to be really, really fine. And I think that they're going to play a lot better than people are expecting. Oh, sorry. Barry on the, yeah. Yeah. One of the saddest days in football. For years, I kept on hoping he'd come back, even to another team other than Detroit. I was always hoping he'd come back. Um, if you missed out, most of the people here are kind of older, but here's the drill. If you're old enough to watch Barry Sanders play live or just watch him on TV, I don't think there'll ever be a running back more exciting. Never be a running back more exciting. Still want to know how that was a good move. That was very, very lucky. Very lucky. There's always a player that falls, and Collins was one of them. So Tebow was trying out long shot, but could he take a minimum salary? And I think it's more of a publicity stunt. I don't think he makes the team, but I think it's really cool they brought him in. Yeah, I think that's what it is. They're referring to the noise. Did you guys hear that? It just sounded it was crazy. He was a lot of fun in college, not a good pro quarterback. But man, that year didn't he win like 6 straight games for the Broncos just out of nowhere, and all of them were like 10-7 wins. It was crazy. Because Nico sat out, I saw some things where people were concerned he was just a jump ball guy, but so many wideouts in this draft, the Lions were able to get Jonathan Adams and Sage Garrett in undrafted free agency. You got to see him play a lot more than I did. I thought there was so many problems with the quarterback position. The guy that started the season, I think he transferred to Georgia. The guy who came in late in the season, I think he's going to be your starter. I think he's only a freshman or a sophomore at Michigan. But Michigan, I think Harbaugh, I mean, I've been saying this for a while. I think he's finally on hot seat. This would be an interesting year. Can they beat Ohio State? There's been a few people public saying, hey, we got just as much talent as Ohio State. Well, you don't, but there's a lot of talent in Michigan. You got to do better. So majority of guys will start day one. Your first 3 picks will. Okay, actually, the defensive tackle out of NC State, he may not start right away, but he'll contribute day one. So I don't know what you're talking about. The Raiders had the best draft, utter brilliance in each. Browns looking like a dark horse in the AFC. They're drafting and playing smart, may win the North. Absolutely, they could. Absolutely, they could. They bring back Greedy Williams and Grant Telpett in the secondary. They got rid of, I just talked about him because the Raiders signed him. Carl Joseph, who was really a box safety, which they really don't need. They drafted Greg Newsome. If Greg Newsome or Grady Williams can play inside, that's going to be good. I don't see that skill set to either player. So Denzel Ward, does he move inside? That's the only question. JOK could be a day one starter. Yeah, Cleveland's loaded, man. Cleveland is loaded. So they got a lot of things. Misread me, Dan. Anytime can sign Schwartz, but I believe Casey. Oh, okay. Yes. If he's healthy enough to play, they wouldn't want him for more than 1 year. The money is anywhere close to East. Yes. Yeah. If he can make a decent salary in Kansas City would love to have him. Kansas City would love to actually have Fisher also. But I think the Chiefs really just want to move on from both of these guys. Just bottom line, what made Schwartz so appealing is that he would be a lock to start every single day. I followed Schwartz on Instagram, and he seems really content. I don't think his mind's really in football. I think if he does sign, I think he's just going to sign a 1-year deal, try to make some extra money, because he signed with like 3 or 4 different cooking companies and just seems really content to kind of just move on from the NFL, which is kind of a red flag. The teams that, hey, look, if you see a guy who's like close to retirement, he seems content. So that's kind of what it is. And Funk, I'm not on drugs. Miners will be picking. Yeah, 100% correct, Denver Gator. I said this in my draft video. I think it's a lock. San Francisco is going to pick top 10. Why casinos think that San Francisco 49ers are going to win 10 games is beyond me. I don't get it at all. They're easily going to be dead last in this division. Dan, I got you. The Bears went from one of the best to one of the worst real quick. I don't get the Leno cut at all. I actually thought he was a decent left tackle. I'm really, really surprised, to tell you the truth. You guys, you guys are up in the NFC North. You tell me, I mean, was this guy a turnstile at left tackle? I didn't think so. I think Askin Jenkins come in day one's a lot, but I will say this. I don't think that Fields starts day one. I don't think he starts at all, to tell you the truth. If the Bears are smart to have him sit, because the Matt Nagy offense, if it's anything like what he did in Kansas City, is extremely complex. So I think it's a very, very it's a very bad situation for a rookie to come in early. But remember, they also got Nick Foles. So I mean, if they're smart, if the Bears are smart, Fields doesn't play at all this year. And then you build the offense around Fields in 2022. Lance, you're less than you think. Okay, I thought it was under 600, but it's under 318. And I think the number that was 5.0 in high school when he's 3 inches short and 30 pounds. Yeah, if he only threw 318. Bottom line, I'm not anti-Lance, okay? I'm not anti-Lance at all. I think he's fine. I just think San Francisco was a bad fit because you traded 3 number ones and a number 3. And that team is littered with holes. And he's not ready to play this year. And whoever San Francisco picked, I think that they have to have confidence that he's going to play this year. And he's not. He's just not ready to play this year. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. You're only 22. I knew you were young, but man, dude, you missed something. Barry Sanders was electrifying. There will never be another running back in the history of the NFL as fun to watch as Barry Sanders. Some people argue Gale Sayers, but Gale Sayers was an all-around player. He was a receiver, returner, maybe the best punt and kick returner in the history of the National Football League. Barry Sanders, most electrifying running back, the most fun to watch. Third greatest running back to ever live. Third greatest running back to ever live. Mike, you're 100% correct. He does bring 10,000 fans. I didn't think about it, but, let's just say he plays special teams. I did not think about it. But you're right. You're 100% right. Oh, Pride, I hope you watch whole games from when Barry was here. Dude was something else. Dude, Funk, I cannot tell you how much fun he was to watch. I got to watch it. He only played at Arrowhead once. It was the weirdest game ever. Chiefs had Christian Okoye back then. And by the way, Barry Sanders, as a rookie, should have led the NFL in rushing. He had 1,470 yards. He had 150-some yards. And the coach said, hey, only 10 more yards to beat Christian Okoye. You want to go back in? And it was a blowout win. And he said, no, I'm good. Let's let the backup guys, they practice hard. 10 yards. And he had 150 already. So, he really should have led the league in rushing instead of Christian Okoye did. And Christian Okoye had, I know he had 370 carries that year. I have no idea what Barry Sanders had. I know Christian Okoye had 4.0 yards a carry. Barry Sanders had, I think, 5 yards a carry. So I think it was like 50 less carries, at least 50 less. But Barry Sanders was so good, man. So good. Apparently, I didn't notice he's 5'8". He could dunk a basketball. He joked around with trying out for the Pistons. Apparently, he was a good enough basketball player that there was a possibility of him playing NBA basketball. James! Yes! Welcome back, brother. It is very good to hear from you. Very good to hear from you, man. You know what? I've been meaning to put together something and shooting you an email with all the casinos. I think there is a William Hill in Michigan. If you missed it earlier, mortgage your house, do whatever you need to do, but put money on San Francisco under 10 wins. It is so damn good to see you, brother. Yeah. Dan, I think you're no. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I had his second round grade. I actually really liked him at USC. I'm going to tell you something. He's a solid number 2 wide receiver in the league. I don't think he's a number 1 guy. I really don't. I think that you may end up adding to your wide receiver ranks, whether through free agency or trades, or there may be a wide receiver who's cut that's added to your team. Amon-Ra St. Brown's a very good wide receiver. Really like that pick. So I'm not sleeping on him. The Lions had no pass rush, so at least no. Didn't he give up a sack? You guys tell me, man. You guys tell me because I thought he was a decent left tackle. I was really surprised you wanted to replace him. So I have no idea. Lance and Niners, I thought was a good fit because he will sit until Jimmy gets hurt. The thing is, what I don't like is that I don't think he's ready this year. I really don't think he's ready this year. Lance is a guy that out of the 5 quarterbacks in the first round, this is the guy you want to sit at least 1 year. That's why I thought he would go to Atlanta at pick number 4 because he could sit for maybe 2 years. But with Jimmy G, I mean, you got to factor in, is Jimmy going to get hurt? Because he has an injury history. So he could get hurt. And number 2, you got to adjust. Okay, he only played in 1 game, right? So you got to adjust to the speed of the NFL, plus from taking a year off, plus adjusting to an NFL system, and having the least amount of talent in the division. Now, a lot of people think like, oh, no, they got Mozart, a career third-string running back, or everybody thinks a great running back now because he ran a 4.3 one time in college that was handheld. That's probably closer to a 4.5. He's got he's got a third-year player and a second-year player at wide receiver. Neither of them have been able to stay healthy. Kittle, another guy, can't stay healthy. So it better work. I'm gonna put some money down that's not gonna work because 10 wins is a ridiculous number. I actually thought the number might be high at like 8.5 when I saw it was 10. It's like I gotta tell you guys, man, this I'm gonna bet on it. I'm gonna bet on it's probably gonna drop, but right now because it's at negative, so it's negative for the over. So people are betting over 10 wins for the San Francisco 49ers right now. I'm gonna eyeball this between now and the start of the draft. I actually have a small amount of money in my William Hill account for Iowa because I have to cross the Iowa State border. Okay, yeah, more noises outside. Because I have to cross the Iowa State border to use the app. I have to be within the Iowa State limits. I can't do it, but I was going to try to do it right now. I'm telling you this right now. If you do any sports betting, that is my number 1 pick, and I'm going to bet on it. San Francisco under 10, and right now you can bet 100 will win you $110. Excuse me. Houston's going to lose a lot. Okay, Houston is going to lose a lot. But they're going to show a lot of promise. I think the defense will lose games, though. Individual players show up like King and Grenard. Okay. Blacklock, yes. I got you, buddy. I actually think there's a good chance the Houston Texans are pretty competitive. Remember, 2 years ago, they were a playoff team. Last year, they just kind of fell apart at the seams. And keep in mind, they had Romeo Crennel, a terrible head coach. Now, I don't bet on teams that have rookie coaches. I try not to do that. It's not a guarantee or a lock. But I'm not going to bet on the Houston Texans. But I think the over/under for wins is 4.5, and I think the Houston Texans right now, they look like to me a 500 team. I'm counting Watson. I think the defense is going to be a lot better. I think people are really going to be surprised at how much better the defense is, and then I think Watson is just going to come back and just have a gangbusters year. Do you think this is one of Dorsey's? Absolutely. This is one of the best drafts he's had. The reason why is that I think you're going to get a minimum of 4 starters. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to start. He is going to start at wide receiver. At least that's my opinion. The last pick in the draft. He's going to make the roster. He's actually going to play some. Your first 3 picks will eventually be starters. The defensive tackle that you got out of NC State. I don't know if he's a day 1 starter, but Ozurike, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to start. Sewell's going to start. So really, really solid draft. You're going to have a lot of contributors. You know what? Why don't I do this here? I do have it up. So let me just go here because I know you had some other picks in the draft that I really like. No, that's it. I'm sorry. I'll be honest. You have a linebacker out of Purdue. I'm not very familiar with. I'll be honest. That was it. That was it. But Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round is a really good pick. He is going to play. I think he's actually going to be a starter. I think he's a wide receiver number 2 in the draft. I don't think he's the number 1 guy. He's a number 2. But on the Detroit Lions, he may be the best receiver on your roster now. He actually comes into camp probably your most talented wide receiver. So that's but I'm telling you this right now, you're going to add players through free agency, trades, releases. That's a John Dorsey staple. But do I think absolutely? You don't really know how good a draft is till 4 or 5 years down the line. But I think this will end up being a really good draft. I really think the Detroit Lions are doing some really good things. It's not going to add up in the win total this year. You don't get all excited. I was told by one of you guys that Luke G said you guys have a 9-win team. He's convinced you guys are going to win more than 6 games. I don't know. It's actually the over-under is 5, and I'm not going to bet on that. But I think 5 might be a little low. I could see you guys win 6, 7, maybe. But these guys got to start panning out, and you're going to do a lot more before the season starts. So. I'm also surprised a lot of signings have been Pep Hamilton contracts. I expected the Lovey contracts, but Hamilton guys were from left field. Alex, to tell you the truth, I didn't realize that Pep Hamilton had that much influence in the draft. I'm really excited for the Houston Texans. Here's the deal. I've been saying that the Lions are not going to be that good, but I like what they're doing. I think the Houston Texans are going to be good. I think you're going to be really surprised. I think the Texans are going to be a team that's going to fight for a wild card and might even make the playoffs. I really believe that. So, Okora came off the left side, so the right tackle, which is why I thought at first grade. No, I actually thought he'd play inside. I actually thought that you would keep your tackles. I thought he'd be a guard. I thought it was a great pick at guard. And then I think it was you who told me that Leno got cut, and I'm like, he's going to start as left tackle. If you follow this channel long enough, left tackle is an extremely important position in the NFL. So you get the 2 most important positions in football are quarterback and left tackle. That's my opinion. So the Chicago Bears got both those guys in the draft, which is a great thing. Neither one of them are going to be ready right away. But Jenkins is going to have to be a plug-and-play guy. You better hope he can handle it. I thought on the right side or inside, it was great. Starting left tackle, I'm not really so sure. But if he ends up being a good left tackle, then great move by the Bears. Great move by the Bears. I've never seen our war room be that juiced up to pick an offensive tackle, but I don't blame Sewell. Don't blame them. Sewell is special. I still think that he might have been better on the inside, but having him as a guard or right tackle is very smart. Very smart. And I love teams that build inside out, which is what I think they were doing. I don't think they're going best player available. I think that they looked at the front 7 and said, okay, we need multiple players on this defensive line. We're going to attack this. And then I think in the 4th round, Amon St. Brown, I think you needed a wide receiver. Getting him in the 4th round was genius. And I think they attacked it because this is a deep receiver draft. There were some receivers I thought could have gone in the 2nd round. Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State, Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC. Both those guys could have gone in the 2nd round. They both went in the 4th. So. You have that QB from the Chargers along with King and some offensive linemen along with all the draft guys have connection. I forgot that you guys got Tyrod Taylor. I actually completely forgot about it, and I shouldn't have. If you want to substitute Tyrod Taylor for Deshaun Watson, I still think that you're still not in terrible shape. I still think that even with Tyrod Taylor, this team could limp its way into the playoffs. The defense would have to take a massive jump. Nico Collins would have to play like wide receiver number 1. But I actually forgot about Tyrod Taylor. He only signed a 1-year deal, if I remember right. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. I did not realize that Pep Hamilton had so many connections with the draft and bringing in free agents. So that's a really, really good thing for the Houston Texans. I would be a lot more excited about the football season, but of course we have to get Deshaun Watson cleared first. Once it's cleared that he's okay and everything's good to go, then I think the Houston Texans are going to be a team that's going to generate a lot of buzz because I think that they have a lot of weapons. They have one of the best quarterbacks in football. The defense laid an egg last year. They're not going to this year. So they're going to be a team to watch out. The AFC South is going to be a tough division. I mean, both the Colts and the Titans went back to the playoffs. Both of them didn't really improve this offseason, though. Both of them lost some players at key positions. So Houston Texans, watch out for them. No such thing as a 500 team anymore. I'm clean. You know what? I've been paying attention to this, and a lot of teams have higher. I was expecting just the opposite, but a lot of teams have higher win totals than I was expecting. I didn't go over all the teams. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to kind of go over a few picks that I like, but I wanted to reveal it now. San Francisco over 10 makes a lot of sense. The Saints 9.5, I think over is plus 120. I think that's a good number. Kansas City, I think at 12 or 12.5 is okay. Tampa Bay, I think, is 11.5. And are they going to go 12-5? Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of it. I think that this is kind of a big year for sports bettors because right now it doesn't look like they have anything set in place to go to 17 games. It looks like they're going off of a 10-game season, but there's more higher numbers than lower numbers. And some numbers, like I said, San Francisco at 10, where the hell do you get that? Some of these teams with expected to be bad records, the Detroit Lions at 5, Houston Texans at 4.5. Those are really low numbers. So there's going to be some really, really good betting opportunities this year. Denver Gator, I don't know if you do any sports betting or not, but I know you're familiar with it. If you're located outside of Denver, I know if you hit I-70 to 15, you could be in Vegas in about 13 hours, but you might actually just be a few hours away from an Iowa casino. So, but it so far, I'm going to kind of go over that in the next couple of weeks, but so far, it hasn't really had an effect, and I think Vegas is going to make some mistakes. San Francisco is a big one, and I encourage everybody who watches this show to put some money on San Francisco 49ers and the under. I am going to. So, honestly, me personally, I think St. Brown is a slot. I think he's versatile. I think he play inside or outside. That's a position that really needs an upgrade. But I think that they will get an upgrade. But he's a guy I really like. I wouldn't have minded if Kansas City used a 3rd or a 4th round pick on him. We didn't have a 3rd round pick, but you get my point. Dallas got the short end of the stick with the new game played instead of finishing the season. Alex, you know, the whole time you're gone, there was a bunch of Cowboys fans. No, you know what? Of all the teams, I've had different teams come in. I have yet to have a Cowboys fan. When I used to work at Sprint, and there was like 8 Cowboys fans there. None of them follow my show. I asked, hey, we follow my show, we subscribe. No, we're douchebags and we're not going to follow you. That was the quote from all the Dallas fans. They all admitted they were douchebags. So kind of weird that fan base admits that they're douchebags, but yes. I watched a video that said Sewell was going to be bad, but I checked this film and said otherwise. There are some things to love about him. One thing I don't like is that he was constantly off his feet. That's a big red flag for a tackle. And now it looked like it was downfield, like if he was blocking downfield and jumping and lunging. This is not a guy who this wasn't Jonathan Ogden or Orlando Pace. And a lot of people kept on saying he was. No. That's not the case at all. This is not a generational tackle type of player, but this is a guy on the right side or inside could be amazing. I think his best position would be guard. I think you put him inside at guard, he could be a superstar. You want to put him at right tackle, I think he's going to be pretty good. I don't think this is a generational type of guy. This was not Orlando Pace or Jonathan Ogden. Let's just get that out of the way, though. The Barnes kids from Purdue may start. He can play all over. Dude played a little DN in all three linebacker spots. The Lions said they were going to run a 3-4. I can see him be used all downhill. That's interesting because I thought Aaron Glenn was going to run a 4-3, and that's why they drafted those defensive tackles because both those guys are 4-3 guys. They're not 3-4 guys. And if you're planning on using those guys in a 3-4 defense, I would not like the draft nearly as much. But I'm here in Kansas City. You're in Detroit. But I've been looking at, if you watch the Saints play, and I've watched a lot of the Saints over the last couple of years, that's kind of what I'm expecting. And the Saints use a 4-3. But if you guys are using some sort of weird hybrid or you're sticking to a 3-4, I really wouldn't like the draft as much because Ozurike and the guy from North Carolina State, they're not 3-4 tackles. They're 4-3 defensive tackles. So if you're going to run a 3-4, which I don't think you're doing, I wouldn't like the draft nearly as much. I don't know too much about this linebacker, but the fact that he's versatile and can play different spots, my guess would be that he's also a good special teams player, even though I don't know anything about him other than he's from Purdue. But get back to me on that. I know you follow comments. By the way, all my social media is listed below. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, you can always email me anytime you want. So Taylor signed a 1-year deal on a prove-it contract after his pierced lung thanks to Charger doctor. Alex, I cannot tell you how much I missed you, brother, man. Yeah, and Tyrod Taylor, I thought kind of got a bad deal because I actually thought that he deserved a 1-year deal with the Chargers. I thought he should have been the starting quarterback. But once Herbert just started to explode, I understand why he's not going to get an opportunity to come back. Unfortunately, I think that ends his starting career. Now, I'm telling you this right now. I think Watson's going to continue to. I think Watson's going to get off scot-free. I think Watson's going to play in all 17 games. Knock on wood, doesn't get injured. And Tyrod Taylor is going to be a career backup. That's kind of the way I look at it. So, excuse me. Brady called Julian Edelman to come out of retirement and join the Bucs. Wouldn't be really. You know what? That actually, I didn't know that, but it makes a lot of sense. I mean, he brought Gronk. I think Edelman really was kind of frustrated because him and Brady are really close. I think it was just kind of hard for him to kind of bond with Cam Newton plus the injuries. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Antonio Brown signed. Remember, Chris Godwin's on a 1-year deal. He's only on a 1-year deal. So having Edelman come in and this is kind of the dark side of football, but when you sign a guy to a 1-year deal, he's making 15.5. I think it's 15.6 million this year, and you don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. Bring in Antonio Brown, bring in Edelman, and then hey, Godwin, if you want to play, take less money, but more than likely after this season, Godwin will be gone because you already got your number one in Mike Evans. Don't forget OJ Howard's coming back. OJ Howard was injured. OJ Howard's a freak of nature. I don't know how many of you guys remember the Alabama Clemson national championship game. He had 5 catches, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6'5", 250, runs a 4.5. And he's got all the athleticism in the world. And he was actually, I think he got injured week 5, but he's a guy with massive upside. The same with Leonard Fournette. So, I mean, Tampa Bay is going to be a very, very good football team. Adding a guy like Edelman's going to just help. Joe B, welcome, brother. Aaron Rodgers is reportedly close to be moving to Washington. I have not heard that. If you don't mind, where did you hear that from? And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It is right around here somewhere. Hit that subscribe. But man, good to let me know. Where did you hear this from? If you don't mind. So. And I thought I was caught up. I am not. I imagine if Edelman comes out of retirement like Gronk to play in. If Edelman does come out of retirement, he's going to be like wide receiver number 4. Normally wide receivers number 4 and 5 have to play special teams. I'd be shocked if they asked Edelman to play special teams, but I don't think he'd have a huge impact because you got your 1 and your 2. Antonio Brown would be number 3, and also you're going to play a lot more 11 personnel. You're going to get OJ Howard back. This guy's just a physical freak. Plus, coming back, he's going to want to go ahead and prove that he's worthy of a new contract. Or Gronk may retire after that season. OJ Howard could take over. So, but I don't think that's realistic to expect. But could he sign and will he help? Absolutely. I think it'd be very interesting to see if he signs. I hope he does. Funny, I didn't want Parsons because he was just downhill, and I was under the impression we would go to a 4-3. But if you watch tape, Barnes plays a lot like Parsons. That I didn't know. And I don't know too much about the Purdue linebacker, but if he does play downhill, bottom line, you need as much help on that front 7 as you can get. So I kind of like the fact that drafted a linebacker. I don't know too much about the guy, but that would be awesome. Okay. Oh, so is he just playing us? I didn't know. And Barnes has his head on straight too. I don't know too much about the guy, but I would love it. I would love it if he works out. You know, I'm pulling for you guys. I'm just saying this year I would have very low expectations. I'd like to see Rodgers move. It would be fun. I hope it does. Alex Lombard. Okay, yeah. I you know what? I think he stays in Green Bay, but I think it would be fun. Him going to Washington, I think, makes them the NFC East favorites instantly. The defense is good. They got some pieces on offense I really like. To tell you the truth, Washington may not be a bad team anyway. It'll be very interesting to see what happens, but it's a great story. I didn't realize my microphone was back. Okay, hopefully. I think I muted myself for a second. Let me know in the chat if I'm still on mute. All right, no comments yet. I think Rodgers is spoiled brat. You're not alone, man. There's a lot of weird stuff about Rodgers. You remember that story? I think it was Bleacher Report where Rodgers did not get along with a lot of his teammates. I remember that Janis wide receiver. Everybody thought he was going to be a good player. Apparently, Rodgers just blasted him, made fun of him, and then finally just wouldn't throw him the ball at camp and basically got him cut from the team. Apparently, he was a real jerk to several other players, and a lot of his teammates really didn't care for him. I know his family, he hasn't talked to anybody of his family. Of course, the rumors was his family kept asking for money, and he finally just said, "Hey, look, no, I earned it." And never met the guy. I will say this: when Rodgers is at his best, I've never seen a quarterback play better. At his best, I've never seen a quarterback play better. So, yeah, it sounds like Dallas fans, they got no classes. Teams in bottom of divisions have better chance for better records. Playoff teams sit in week 16, but definitely 17. Only bet college football. Only bet football, college, NFL on 45 minutes from betting is Colorado. It's legal. I didn't know it was legal in Colorado. I did not know it was legal in Colorado. It is a wow. I had no. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'd rather drive to Iowa than Colorado because I'm in Kansas City. Driving all I-70 across Kansas is boring as hell. But I didn't know that. Man, that's actually pretty awesome. I'm gonna help you win some money this year. You're gonna love it. Can he be elite? Are you talking about Barnes or are you talking about Rodgers? Rodgers, yes. Oh, okay. Sewell. Okay. Both TTs have played nose. Yes, both these guys are going to play defensive tackle. Both these guys are 4-3 tackles. Let's be very clear. I really think that you're going to see a transition to a pure 4-3 because what you saw in New Orleans was a 4-3 defense. Not a lot of blitzing, a lot of pressure with just 4, and some really good secondary play. And that's something you're going to have to work on. But once you do get that ironed and out of the way, there's a lot of good things to like about the Detroit Lions. I'm just telling you, for 2021, don't expect a lot. I think Rodgers is somewhat reasonable. Packers haven't helped his O-line or offensive weapons. He wants more to win it all, and Green Bay hasn't delivered. Yeah, I can't argue with that. From an entertainment standpoint, I'd love to see him go to a different team. The defense, now, one thing they did do is they did get rid of the defensive coordinator. Trading up for the quarterback 2 years ago and then getting a running back didn't make a lot of sense. And you give Aaron Jones, I think it was a 4-year, $48 million deal, which makes a second-round pick on a running back even more confusing. Brandon Ayuk would have been great in that offense. You could have drafted him. That was the pick that you would have had if you didn't trade up for a quarterback. Keep in mind, Ayuk was injured a lot last year, but he could have helped them win. Green Bay's doing some things, but to be honest, over the last couple of years, Green Bay and the Raiders have had the most confusing drafts. And then I didn't like their first two picks. I thought they reached, but didn't they got Amari Rodgers, the wide receiver out of Clemson. He's a damn good player. So they did get some help. He's going to be their number 2 wide receiver. He's going to be a good player. So they did help a little bit. I know the corner that they got, he was the speed demon, ran like a 4.25, but I thought he was a second or third round pick. But at Green Bay drafts a corner every year in the first round. So that's just what they do. No, a lot of people didn't. I thought once Pitts was gone, I thought it was going to be Pitts, Chase, Sewell, and then I was confused on what Detroit would do. But for some reason or another, Miami likes Powell instead. But they drafted, was it Eichenberg, the tackle out of Notre Dame, which I wouldn't have done that. If you're interested in tackle, why not take Sewell? So there's, I don't know, questionable, but good move by Detroit. Me either. He's going to be a top 5 O-line coach. He's going to, yes. There's lots of things better. Funk, Levi, better 3 tech. That's kind of what I see him as, a 3 tech. Honestly, I think my Texans will be competitive, but no contenders. Plus, I don't think Watson will start the season. I think Taylor will. Okay. If Taylor starts the season, it'll be hard for them to be contenders. I think Watson's going to end up coming scot-free, and I think he's going to play pissed off. I really think he's going to go this season pissed off. How fast you can develop Nico, is it Collins or Johnson? I just drew a complete blank. But how fast you develop Nico, let's just call him, I think it's Johnson. How fast you can develop him is going to be key, because if you can get him and Watson comfortable and on the same page, this offense is going to be really good, because you have smaller, faster wide receivers around. Philip Lindsay, guy that I'm really grateful to get out of Denver, is really going to help your offense. He's a really good player. Funk, where do you have Sewell rated? Funk, let him know. Since it's Dallas, they will go 8. Oh God, this is awesome, man, Alex, dude. We gotta get a Cowboys fan in. We gotta get Cowboys fans in here. I didn't say he was better 3 tech, but the fact that he can play 3 or nose is great for the future. Is it in just saying Levi is better 3 tech? Okay. Hey, draft is in Vegas next year. Let's book it. I'm definitely going. I am going to try. I'm actually okay. I got some weird personal stuff going on. I'm not going to bore you, but ideally, I go to Vegas to kick off the start of the season. Spend about a week out there. When I say a week, just 5 days, probably. Definitely 4, maybe 5. If that doesn't happen, I'm just going to take. I'm just going to go up to Iowa before the season starts. Do what I did this year. But in a perfect world, I go ahead and I go to Vegas, and then I'll go to Vegas once or twice during the season. I'll make some videos, show you guys the strip and everything. Maybe some 3-day weekends, maybe just a red eye, because I work Tuesday through Saturday. And so my plan is to kind of get a red eye on Saturday, spend Sunday, Monday in Vegas, come back, Tuesday morning. Ideally, I do that a few times during the season. I'll have to wait and see what happens. then so that's kind of the plan. As far as the draft is concerned, if I still have the same job that I have now, I'm going to take some days off for the draft. Maybe end up going to Vegas. We'll have to wait and see. I would love to be able to spend the draft in Vegas. I am going to do everything I can to get off of work. I don't know if I'll be able to go to Vegas. Denver Gator, you can message me anytime you want, man. We'll talk details. If I do end up going to Vegas for the kickoff of the NFL season, I'll let all you guys know. I'll try to give you guys as much notice as I can. I don't like advertising, hey, I'm going to be gone from my residence. I had a buddy of mine who said his buddy told everybody on Facebook he was leaving. This place got robbed. So I might just give you a few of you guys that follow me on social media, like a private message. Hey, guess what? These are dates I'm gone. You want to meet up? We'll go ahead and do that. We can do some. So, One Pride, are you asking where I had him ranked out of offensive tackles? He's my OT number one. He for me the whole draft. He was 2, not including QBs. Damn. Okay, number one off. Rodgers got his last coach fired. Yeah, Rodgers did get him fired. Let's be very clear. Rodgers did get him fired. He had issues with teammates. I think that what he wanted was the old Dolphins coach, and I'm drawing Philbin. Joe Philbin came back to Green Bay to be the offensive coordinator. When McCarthy was fired, Joe Philbin took over, and I think that Philbin and Rodgers had a really good relationship, and Rodgers wanted Philbin to take over as the head coach full time. But remember, the last game of the season, Rodgers got hurt. They got blanked at home to Detroit. And Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers, like, you want to be the head coach and you put up 0 at home against the Detroit Lions the last game of the season. Yeah, you are not getting a head coaching job. So they ended up hiring LaFleur instead, and he's been very successful. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue. 2 years, 2 NFC championship games, going from a 6-win season to 2 NFC championship games. So it's hard to argue with that success. Me personally, we'll have to see. Collins, Nico Collins. Okay, it's Collins. I said Johnson. My bad. Nico Collins. I still get names wrong, Alex. Man, I still get names wrong, but I have very much missed you, and I'm trying as hard as I can to get more Cowboys fans on the show, but none of them want to join. I have no idea why. And I know you would be very nice to all the Cowboys fans. Bradshaw says Rodgers has the worst footwork he's ever seen, never steps in the throws. He said if Rodgers wants control, he should buy seriously, it would not surprise me if Rodgers ends up owning an NFL team someday. Rodgers is a smart dude, man. Rodgers is a very smart dude, but there's lots of talk about negative aspects about Rodgers. Lots of negative comments about Rodgers. So, Cowboys fans are cowards, talk big, and say their team's a Super Bowl contender every year, which is a lie. And always stay away from everyone else due to the play, always telling the truth. God, we need to get you talking with Cowboys fans as much as possible. None of them want to join my show. I used to work at Sprint with a bunch of Cowboys fans. All of them just flat out said, we're not going to join or subscribe to your show because we're big douchebags. All of them said that. All of them. It was really weird. A Lions fan saying Rodgers is a punk. I'm shocked. I hope Green Bay plays hardball and tells them either you play here or you can retire. That's awesome. And I want the Lions to stay far away from Rattler next year. Oh, Spencer Rattler. I'll be honest. I don't think Rattler is an NFL quarterback. I think he's like 6 foot, 190, doesn't have an NFL arm, but some people are saying he's going to be a first-round quarterback. I don't see it at all. For those of you who don't know, Spencer Rattler is the OU quarterback. Actually, it's funny because somebody on a different podcast I follow. It's a gambling podcast. Told me that they recruited a kid up in Seattle, Washington, top 50 player that they're expecting to actually take over as starting quarterback, but I don't think that's the case. I think Rattler will be the starting quarterback. And if he has a good enough season, he could go pro. From what I've seen out of Spencer Rattler, he's not an NFL quarterback. I see a 6 foot, 190-pound kid. He does not have an NFL arm. Is he going to go ahead and put on some weight, grow some arm strength? We'll wait and see. I probably will watch several Oklahoma games, but I don't see him being an NFL quarterback, and he's definitely not going to be quarterback one. I've seen a clip from QB1. He sounds like a spoiled brat. Rattler, I haven't heard or seen anything like that. It's just that what I've seen, he's not an NFL quarterback. That doesn't mean he can't be a great college quarterback. It doesn't mean he can't win. I watched Jason White win a Heisman Trophy and never play it down in the NFL. He actually came to Kansas City Chiefs under Dick Vermeil, and Dick Vermeil said he's a camp arm. That's it. He can't play in the NFL. And people are like, well, what about his college? And Vermeil just shut down. He's like, hey, look, certain guys can do good in college and can't play in the NFL. And that was one of them. Jason White, by the way, his college football season, just check out those numbers. He got injured in the Big 12 championship game, and that was why K-State won. But if you look at those, I think it was like 11 games, 58 touchdowns, I believe. It was something insane. One of the greatest seasons ever. And never played it down in the NFL. Didn't even. Chiefs brought him in to just throw the ball around in minicamp. Dan, you know me. I have nothing but good things to say about Dallas fans. As you can tell my comments tonight, I'm quite friendly. It's quite sad they want to say such mean things about themselves. Overall, oh man, there are so many things I want to do to improve the show. I want to go ahead and try to get a phone line installed. I need to do a soundboard. That's some special effects. A guy has his Cash App right underneath, like scrolling. I think I can do something like that here. Like right here. I'm not going to do it myself, but here, some guy has this here. So he has like his Cash App there, which all the information I'm giving you guys is just free of charge. But I think eventually I'm going to put a class together and try to sell some stuff, because I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a good year to bet on the National Football League. You guys get the gold treatment free of charge. So if you watch the show, San Francisco under 10 is a gold mine. So take advantage of it. Fun fact, no free agent offensive player has ever signed with Green Bay while the mighty Aaron was there. I want to argue with that. I know Mercedes Lewis did. I know it's a tight end, and he's 104 years old, but I know that. Ever? That's a long time, man. That's a very long period of time. Really? Are you sure about that? Wow. What do you mean, Pride? I said perfect. So Dallas fans and Chicago fans have something in common. Oh, God, a Chicago fans blast. I had a couple guys I used to run around with. I guess I call them friends, are both Bears fans. One was okay. One's a complete douchebag. One is a douchebag, and then when Chiefs won the Super Bowl, he switched over. He was that type of a douchebag. He was a Bears fan when the Bears win, and then Chiefs won the Super Bowl, switched over. He's that type of a douchebag. Charlie Ward, that's another one. Never played a snap, had a really strong NBA career. Yeah, he actually wasn't a bad NBA player. Not an NBA fan. Not an NBA fan, but I do remember watching Charlie Ward. So you need to have guests in other sports channels to expand. Yes, I've been meaning to bring on Luke G. It's just that the only reason I haven't is because I love doing this where open it up and just answer questions on the fly. I think it's a lot harder than it looks, or maybe I make it hard. I don't know, but I like just talking football and just having an organic conversation. I just kind of let the conversation go wherever. Something not a lot of people do. I've been wanting to bring on Luke G, and I do want to bring on some other people. There's a lot of things I really want to do, but I'm actually working on this, Mike, because I'm trying to get a better product for you guys. And yeah, I'm trying to get my subscriber base to grow a little bit. I ended up adding a little over 70 subscribers during the draft. I'm at 676 now. I'd love to get to 700 before the season starts, maybe even higher. And then, like I said, after the 4th of July, I'm going to break down all 32 NFL teams. All 32 NFL teams. And I do the same thing. I break down what I like, what I don't like, and then I break down the Vegas over-under. So, yeah. If you start that class, I can contribute NCAA football. Love to contribute. What I'm going to do is put together a gambling package for, in a perfect world, the 2022 season, something I can sell. I say this every year, but I don't have as much time as I would like to watch as much college football as I would like. Currently, I have to work Saturday. I'm going to try as hard as I can to watch more college football. You and Mike had some great ideas. Mike was on board with Coastal Carolina since week 1. Mike had some great college football material. I'm really hoping that you and Mike can continue to provide good college material. If there's some good stuff that you guys have, we can talk about it on the show. I know you follow me on social media. As far as I know, Mike doesn't follow me on social media, but if he does and he has some good suggestions, I will put my money just based on stuff Mike says, because he was on board with Coastal Carolina and a few other some really, really good things. So I'm definitely on board with trying to watch more college football, but I basically stick to what I know. But anything that you want to add, you want to contribute, I'm going to try to get like a call-in line. That's a little down the line. Right now, like I said, due to some external factors, I haven't been able to do as much as I want to. I got several things I really want to do to the show to make it better. I just haven't had the time. And bottom line, you guys have been great. It's just a question of what can I do to expand. That's the only thing that I'm needing to do. And right now, the number one problem is just time. I just don't have enough of it. But ideally, I can get some time to do a few different things during the next couple months, and then make the show a lot better. Soundboard, a call-in line. I'd like to get like a little introduction video, something short, like maybe 30 seconds. I thought it'd be kind of cool too. 3-4-4-3 long. It's one gap that focuses on pass rush. I'm good. Well, that's what the Saints do. The Saints basically run a 4-3, just one gap penetration, get after the quarterback, fast athletic linebackers. I was surprised. I had a Saints fan who commented that he thought Demario Davis was overrated. I actually think he's underrated. I think he's one of the best linebackers in football. And then last year you drafted Zach Braun, and then you traded for the guy from San Francisco. He's gone, I think. But yeah. I can't think of any notable offensive guys that signed in Green Bay while Aaron was there. Just along the offensive line, but I don't think you're right. I don't think there was a big name free agent wide receiver, and that might just be that Aaron Rodgers is that big of a dick. I have no idea. Dan, if you ever do a collab with another channel, may I suggest 713 Houston Sports? He does good stuff on his channel and keeps it realistic. I think you brought this up to me before, Alex, and I believe I follow him. I've seen a few of his shows if we're thinking about the same guy, and actually do like him. If he wants to join, or if he wants to have me on as a guest, I'd love to do that. I don't have a ton of stuff that I could bring to the table. I can just offer my opinions on the Houston Texans, but I would love it if anybody who wants to have me on their show, I would love it. I'm always open to do that. I'll have to, I'd have to reach out to him. And then as far as him coming on, I haven't asked Luke G. Luke G would be the first person because I've been on this show twice. He volunteered. He said, Dan, if you ever want a guest, come on. That would be great. I was thinking about if I break down the Detroit Lions and release that video on a Friday, maybe you can come on and you can kind of go back and forth. Because I think Luke G is thinking the Lions are a wild card team this year, and I don't think they're ready yet. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to go on. So he doesn't gamble, but he has good knowledge about the NFL. Also, Texans Thoughts are a good channel as well. Texans Thoughts. I am actually not familiar with, but I will check it out because oh shoot. Okay. All right. I'll follow him on Twitter and his YouTube channel right after the show. I'm going to kind of wrap things up here. My throat's getting a little, it's not cocaine, but my throat's getting a little weird here. And we've been on for an hour and a half. I've been off an hour and a half. 2 gap. I'm going to have a problem. I believe that. Well, that's what that's what New Orleans ran. And that's what I'm expecting the same thing happen in Detroit. So Texan Thoughts is mostly film breakdowns, but he knows a lot about the NFL and most of it seems. I will check it out. I'm going to follow him. He's got a Twitter account, which I just looked up now. I'm going to follow him, and then I'll check out his YouTube channel and see if I'll make a few comments, see if he's interested. Maybe we can work something out. I'm always willing to go on other people's channel and offer my opinion on their team. I've been trying to stay away from more fanboy stuff. I've had to unfollow a lot of people, especially on Facebook. Facebook and Twitter fanboys, because I'm seeing they think a team like the Jets, for example, probably 16-2 this year. And it's like, come on, guy. So I want to follow realistic people and people I can talk back and forth on their team, not somebody who's just a fanboy. But I'll check them out, man. I'll check them out. Pride, as long as they send 4 every down and actually blitz more, 1 or 2 gap will be fine. Patricia never blitzed, and that was killing the back end. I mean, the Lions led the league in only rushing 3. From what I've seen of the Saints, you're not going to what I've seen from the Saints is you're not going to do a lot of blitzing. You're going to try to get pressure on with 4. But yeah, Patricia constantly tried to want to play like a zone in the back 7 with the linebackers, and then play man with the corners. That's why also against Okudah, because Okudah was not equipped to play in that style of defense day one. I knew once they drafted Okudah, Patricia was going to get fired because there's no way Okudah was going to be up to speed in that type of defense. I don't think you're going to see a lot of blitzing, but you are going to see them make a concerted effort to try to get after the quarterback. And these 2 defensive tackles can get after the quarterback. So majority of defense in the NFL, yeah, majority are. There's several that are not, but I think the majority are, and that's what I expect to happen from. That's what I'm expecting to happen from the Detroit Lions. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. My throat's getting. I didn't even ask, but don't forget, guys, give me a thumbs up on this video. I gave you guys some real gold. One more time before I leave. This is very, very important. Okay, I can't do it now. Okay, here we go. And all right. All right, let's see if I can do this again. One more time. Made a mistake here before I get out of here. Before I get out of here, and I'm going to share this with you. This is from William Hill Casino. I double-checked this right before I went on the air. I took this picture yesterday. If you bet under 10 wins for the San Francisco 49ers, $100 will win you 110. This is gold. This is gold. So this is why you want to follow my channel. I'm helping you make money this year. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. I'll be back next week. By the way, all my social media is below. You can always email me anything you want to talk about. I'm going to go over unders and some free agent stuff that's going to happen in the league over this next week. So, hey guys, have a great weekend. I will see you back on Friday.